Coach, talk about today's game.
Tough. I mean, it's a tough loss to a very, very good Kutztown team. We started out flat, and it's hard to overcome double-digit deficits when you come out flat. And so being able to see them fight through the adversity, make the necessary adjustments in terms of defending the ball so we could stay out of foul trouble in the second half was so important to us, being able to get ourselves back into the game in the second half. There were so many times that we were cutting the score, and then there would be a foul or an offensive rebound. But I thought they did a good job of fighting back and giving ourselves an opportunity to win the game or tie the game at the end.
What was your message at halftime?
My message at halftime was do the work. We had to do a better job of adjusting to the hand calls, the hand touch fouls that they were calling. We had to do a better job of defending the shooters. We had to talk about the screens, if we're switching them or if we're staying. We had to talk about that. Additionally, we made a minor adjustment with regards to putting Gina, who's a great defensive player, but we put her on 14. I believe she only had like 4 points in the second half, and I thought that we did a much better job of rotating out on shooters in the second half and playing on the offensive end with the understanding of where our own mismatches were at, and that we could, penetrate from the perimeter with some of our more athletic guards, or get the ball inside to some of our bigs that were matched up with guards defending them on the block.
Gina, quite frankly, you were probably the key to us getting back in this game, because if 14 goes for 18 in the second half, like she went in the first half, it doesn't even come down to a potential 3-point. What was your focus in the second half in defending her?
Just staying with her, honestly. Coach Sherelle, she got on me. She said even if she go to the bathroom, go with her. So I kept it with that. I kept that in my head and just focused on staying with her, and everything else was going to flow. My teammates, they had my backup. So if I stopped her, they couldn't get anything else going.
Chantel, talk about the energy on you. Although you started the game, that third quarter on the bench, talk about seeing your team rally from 10 down, and then you come in and add just your piece to that.
I felt good because I knew when I had to get in, I had to keep that same energy. And with keeping the same energy on the bench as if I was in the game, that, transfers to when I get on the court. So
For you, it's been almost two and a half years before you played a basketball game. Talk about these first two games and just being in front of that crowd and just being back to playing basketball.
Overall, I just feel blessed. Every time I step on the court, I just thank God every time. Like, thanks for this opportunity again. Thanks for me being able to be at Lincoln again. So it's just like this team, everybody around me, it's just like a family, and it feels like I'm just back at home. So it's nothing really I had to adjust to because it feels like I never left.
Coach, talk about having her, what she brings to this team.
She brings an energy, a swagger, a certain level of gritty toughness that's very hard to simulate in practice. It's very hard to find. She is tough as nails, and at the same time, she's a kid that's a really good teammate. When she's on the sideline, she's always cheering for her teammate. In practice, she's in the way of the coaches. She's coaching up, players and telling everybody where to go. She's got a great basketball IQ, and she works. She works so hard. But she brings a certain level of energy that is just special because she's so versatile and can play so many different positions and defend so many different positions.
Gina, talk about you being on the court in that third quarter and you guys slowly cut a 10-point lead down and you just clawed back into it. What was the energy like amongst you guys as that crowd started getting into it, as that lead went from 10 to 8? And
I would say it definitely brought us together. Us being down at first, like we was falling apart, I felt like. But then once we seen how we started to come together and started to get ahead and cut the lead, we came together and we just fought back, and that's all that matters, really.
Yeah, I think at halftime I said we're okay about 5 or 6 times until they started laughing and starting to relax because you're gonna get punched and we have to be able to respond to that. And so we looked a little bit shell shocked as if we didn't know Kutztown was gonna come in and be a 3-point shooting team. And so I think once we kind of settled into that, we were okay. We're okay. Yeah.
Obviously, the free throws in the fourth quarter. Before Bree hit those 3, you were 4 for 8, 50%, and we feel like we just didn't take advantage of those opportunities. We were 5 on the free throw line, 5 minutes to go in the game, and we're shooting free throws. What do you guys take out of that? You know, not being able. Were you tired? Were you think it just loss of focus? What do you attribute some of those to?
Well, I can speak on it because I missed a couple. I felt like, I don't know, like I just felt as though like I just had to make it. So I was trying to focus on that, but it was just like, you know, you get nervous, you get a little jitters and stuff. But I was upset because I was just feeling as though I was letting my team down, kept missing them. But it's just like my mind says, okay, if you miss it, you got to get something back on defense. So it's all about getting it back.
Anything else?
On to the next. You know, we got a big game on Wednesday. You know, they've got to recover from these back-to-backs. So, you know, we've got lots of old bodies. And so we got to, you know, make sure we get some rest in and just prepare because Westchester is going to be tough too. You know, they're not just going to come in and everybody show up and it's a win on the board. Like, we're going to have to fight just as hard as we fought in that second half to get that win.